ready to hit the like and share button on YouTube and Facebook. This is the Hot Rod Podcast with Ron Foreman and Brady Wright. We literally live, eat, and breathe cars. This is the 350th Hot Rod Podcast with Brady Wright, Ron Foreman. And tonight, as threatened, we are going to have part two of our chat with Mike Fobes, the builder from Renton, Washington, basically teaches at Renton Technical College and lives in the South Sound area and is just an incredible builder. And last time, we had a chance to yak with him a little bit about some of his stuff, and we're going to kind of get in depth tonight. I plan to ask him about some of his cars one by one. I have a feeling we're not going to finish.
No, there'll be more.
I'm sure
we can't finish with that guy.
No, and he's fun to talk to. So
yeah, he's awesome.
What do you say we bring him in?
Okay, let's go. All right.
Hi, I'm Brady Wright. I'm the founder of the Idaho Hot Rod Hall of Fame, and I got some big news coming up that I think you'll want to know about. Now, if you're a car person and you're in Idaho, especially North Idaho, you probably are aware of the organization, but just in case you're not, what we do is we recognize hot rodders, clubs, and people who support the sport of hot rodding all through the state of Idaho. It is for Idaho people only. Every year we have an awards banquet that recognizes a hot rodder of the year, a young rodder of the year, and a car club of the year throughout the state of Idaho. Now, you probably wonder, how do people get nominated and how do they get the award? Well, the nominations come from you. If you go to our website, that's Idahof, IDAHHOF.org. There is a nomination form there. You can download it, or you can send an email to idahof@gmail.com, and we'll send you one for yourself. And when you send them in, all of the board gets together once a year, usually in the fall, and we decide who's going to get nominated and who's going to get inducted into the Hall of Fame for that year. Now, our banquet is coming up in about 2 months. We're looking to do it in about September, so you have July and August to fill out your nominations and get them into us. It's real important. The nominations are self-explanatory. The form is real clear, and if you fill it out as completely as possible, whoever you nominate or whichever club you nominate has a pretty good chance of getting in. We induct one hot rodder of the year, one young rodder of the year, and one club of the year every year. But you can put your nominations in at any time. If we don't choose the person you've nominated, for example, this year, they may get in next year. It just depends on who else gets nominated. It's idahof@gmail.com or Idahof, IDAHHOF.org on the web. We're also on Facebook. If you have questions, you can ask them right there. We look forward to getting your nominations in, but do hurry. We need them by the end of August 2023. Hey, we're back with part two of the incredible Phobe-Wan Kenobi, Mike Fobes, builder extraordinaire. And I notice that in the background there, you have at least 1 2/3 of some of the stuff you built. Last time we spoke about kind of the generic, how you got where you were and all of the stuff you're doing at Renton Technical College. But I'd kind of like to know about some of your builds. And I know Ron's got a crap ton of questions, which is the technical term. But just for fun, what was the first, sort of custom piece that you just set your eye on and like, I'm going to build this? What's the one that got you started?
This one.
Okay.
Right
the
there.
coffin car? Is that the coffin?
That's coffin car.
Okay, I can only see part of it, but I see the organ pipes. So tell me about that one. How did that whole thing get started for you?
Wow. Well, I mentioned before, Halloween's my favorite holiday. We
Of
did
course.
the haunted house. That first haunted house, that first week, no one showed. Being a car guy, I used to watch the monsters as a kid.
Naturally.
I had to build the Dragula. Problem was, looking at the Dragula, you could only take one person then, so.
One person. Yep.
And
Al Lewis was a pretty good sized guy.
Twin coffins.
Yeah.
So, oh God, my wife freaked out too. Didn't know if it was going to work. Couldn't find anyone locally that would sell me coffins. Back then, it was kind of a no-no.
Ah,
Right.
So I found a coffin company in Pennsylvania, and he was all for it. He liked the idea. So
Cool.
he sent me out lids, just the lids for both of them.
okay.
I figured with the lids, I could mock it up
Yeah.
and see if this thing's going to work out.
Now you said back then, what year was this?
Oh, wow. This has got to be like early 2000s.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And then, of course, the lids arrived UPS. Put them downstairs in our living room, laid them out. Wife comes home, sees coffin lids in the living room, and she kind of blows a gasket. So all the measurements worked out. I'm thinking this is going to be a great build. It's going to be a fun car. That's how that one started. And like most of my builds, I don't really draw this stuff out. It's an image in my head.
Yeah.
And so start gathering parts. This particular one, you know, people kind of think of me as a Ford guy, but this particular one, I was just looking for a specific engine that I could build large pipe organ exhausts on.
Gotcha. Sure.
And I wanted Hillborn mechanical fuel injection. So I'm thinking big block Chevy, big block Ford, small block Ford was out. Small block Chevy was definitely out because of the center exhaust pipes being close together.
Right.
Right.
So I started going to the swap meets looking for a fuel injection manifold. Happened to come across one for a Boss 302. But I can't afford a Boss 302, so I made one. Lizard block, Cleveland heads, and that was the powertrain for the thing.
Nice.
Once again, just going to swap meets, picking up parts, this and that, until I had enough pieces I could start building it. I think there's a picture on my Facebook page that shows the starting of this thing with just tube steel.
Yeah.
And of course,
I don't know what
entire build, the wife is telling me it's that stupid thing again. Like I said, I had a reminder. I've done a lot more stupid things in building.
Yeah, it's awful bold of her to assume you might have peaked. I mean, there's still lots of stupid left if you really want to.
She has no idea. I am stupid ideas. Yeah. That's my stupid.
Do I see a signature on the front of that coffin there behind you?
You do?
Who is that? I can't quite make it out.
George Barris.
It's hard because he doesn't have the best signature. And he actually had to stand on a stool to do it for the most part. It's George Barris.
I got a George Barris
Absolutely.
story real quick. My wife used to live in San Pedro, California, way before we were married, and she used to go to car shows and stuff down there. And my wife is Greek, and so is George. And she went to the show, and of course, anything that's Greek, she said, "Are you Greek?" And they talked, and he said, "You have to come to my house. My wife will make you food, blah, 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 blah." So she knew George Barris way before she got involved in cars, and she never lets me forget it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how long did
Mine's
it
not
take
nearly
you
as
front-
cool.
Oh, I'm sorry. How long did it take you front to back to build that thing?
For this one, about 5 years.
Not bad. Now, were you
Yeah.
working on anything else in the meantime?
You gotta realize this is my hobby. I'm working full time. This is just, a couple hours in the evenings, a couple of times a week.
Yeah.
If I spend too much time up in the shop, in my younger days, I'd wife kind of frowned on that. Now she kind of pushes me onto the shop. She doesn't want to deal with me.
Nice.
Nice.
Were you finished with that one before you started the next project or even started thinking about it? Or did you have something in the back of your mind that you wanted to move to when this one was rolling?
Absolutely not. In fact, this whole coffin car project, I wasn't sure anyone's going to like it. Prior to this, I was in the Mustangs. I was a big Mustang guy.
Yeah.
In fact, I still have a few Mustangs. Only one of them's done. But I took this to the good guys, expecting the worst, and it was a hit.
They loved it. Yeah.
Never, in all the times I showed cars, did I have so many people come around, take pictures, et cetera, et cetera. So it was the beginning of wild stuff.
Was it always black?
Always been black. Heck, you should remember this.
I know.
I think it was the second show I ever went to was the Infestation.
Yep. You brought it. You pulled it behind your 58 Ford Fairlane, wasn't it?
That
57
was the
Ford?
second Infestation. I
Okay,
had
that's right.
a 57 Ford wagon. Yeah. Not the first
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Okay.
So did you just drive it straight to the infestation the first time?
It had mechanical Hillborn injection. Let
see.
me tell you, if you're thinking about putting mechanical Hillborn injection on a street car, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Worst decision I made in, well, that's not the worst decision, but it was one of the bad decisions I have made in my life. In fact, I just got rid of it and I just put on Weber's. And now it's drivable. Now I can drive it out on the street.
Yeah.
But before,
Right.
it was so finicky. Just temperature and barometric pressure just gave me all sorts of runnability problems.
You know,
There is no load sensor on these mechanical Hillborn setups. It's
Yeah.
just assuming that you were racing full throttle, full load.
Oops.
yeah. I put a Weber on my, let's see, my third Harley Davidson. It was a shovel head. And everybody said, oh, you're out of your mind. Put a Weber on that thing. They're nothing but finicky. Well, they're not. Once you get them set, they're like a rock. Setting them can be kind of interesting, but it was a great carburetor. It ran just fine. You know, all the pumps and everything worked marvelous.
See, people love Hollies. I hate Hollies. People hate quadrajets. I love quadrajets.
I have a
They're
quadruple
awesome.
in my
I
Buick.
love the Carter AFB.
Yeah.
But my favorite carburetor of all time has got to be the Weber downdraft.
Yeah.
And I specifically really like the IDF. I mean, it's the only carburetor really where you can make all the jet changes without taking the carb apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
In
I had,
fact,
I had a side draft, but it pretty much same thing.
same thing.
Yeah.
In fact, that rotary bike has a Weber on it.
Does it?
My Mustang has 4 Webers on it. This thing
Wow.
has 4 Webers on it. And that twin engine car has a total of 12 Webers on it.
Only 12?
Only 12.
Only
Yeah.
12 at $700 a piece or something. I don't know what they cost these days. So,
Uh-oh.
so you're finished with the coffin. Now,
Yeah.
what's next?
All right. So the coffin was a huge success. And that put me on the road to building wild and crazy things. So the next vehicle I built after this was its little sister, that rotary powered bike.
Now, what made you
I think you can
choose
see it in
a,
the picture.
yeah, what made you choose the rotary? Because that's not a normal choice. Let's face it. Most people who are well adjusted don't purposely put a rotary on a motorcycle. So,
Well, in the previous video, I told you that I built cheap.
yes.
And in the previous video, I told you how that bike started because we got into an argument. So I didn't build a motorcycle, I built a skinny car.
There you are.
Right.
And
Four tires.
I wanted something different. And, you know, I've seen V8 motorcycles, the Boss Hog and
Sure.
some other ones. But I didn't really see any rotary powered motorcycles. So
Fair enough.
I figured, what the heck? Couldn't afford a turbine. So built a rotary.
Yeah.
I think I finished it in 2011. Had a huge disagreement with the state patrol on that bike.
A discussion, was it?
It was a pretty good discussion
Hmm.
because they classified it as a car.
Okay. Well, 4 wheels, I guess, but
Expected a steering wheel,
no
seat
steering
belts,
wheel. Yep.
just a myriad of things that since it's a car, they wanted all this stuff.
Of course.
Wow.
So my first experience taking it up for an inspection was not the best. And on the inside of the trailer, it's still there, was a list of everything that was wrong with the motorcycle. Things like DOT headlights and tail lights. Too many spikes. They didn't want spikes on it because it could hurt.
No pointy things. No pointy things allowed.
No pointy things allowed. And of course, if the state patrol's watching it, they're going to be pissed at it. What the hell? So I took it back home, and it was a gorgeous bike in metal at this point. And I proceeded to put on some of the ugliest things, like lights, that you have ever seen. And it was not pretty. He didn't like.
Pirated from a Peugeot, perhaps something really classy.
Worse. It was so much worse. I took angle iron. I took angle iron, tacked it to the back of the bike, and stuck on trailer lights.
Trailer lights. Yes, trailer lights.
Yeah, big ugly round trailer lights, but they had a DOT stamp on them.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Took off the twin headlights and put on a single headlight off my Harley.
Oh, okay.
Pulled one of the front wheels off. Now it's a trike. And well, he didn't like the brake in the back. We got into an argument on that. I actually had the wax Washington codes for this thing with me as I'm doing this, and I'm showing it doesn't need a brake on both rear wheels since it's a straight axle. It's a spool that's inside, and it only required one brake. So another argument that I actually won this time. But out of this whole list, I had to fix it to Washington State standards. And for all the pointy things that were on it, I temporarily epoxied, actually super glued, little round balls onto the ends of all the points.
I could see you going into putts golf and saying, give me a bucket of balls, will you? I'm just gonna go out to the range, take a few shots.
Oh, he also had a problem with the gauges because he didn't see any gauges.
No gauges.
The gauges are actually built into the mirrors.
They're
really cool.
Oh, cool. That sounds cool.
And then I took it back. I had the same inspector.
Oh no.
And I'm showing him the list. And I'm showing that I met every one of his complaints. I solved every single one.
Everyone.
And then he goes, I can't approve this. I know that you're just going to go home and take all this stuff back off. So yeah, I don't think I can go ahead and sign off on this thing.
What the heck?
And I said, you and I know that if I do that and I pull this stuff off, that you're going to give me a fat ticket. He says, you damn bet you'll be gone. But I said, what you are saying is basically accusing someone of murder before they actually commit murder. You can't do that. You can't punish me for something that you think I'm going to do.
That's right. That's
Welcome
right.
to Logan's Run.
When in reality, I did exactly what you thought I was going to do.
Of course,
Of course you did.
It wasn't that you weren't going to do it. It's just you wanted to leave before you let him know that.
Good for you.
It suspiciously looks like it has a plate on it, so you must have won at some point.
There's actually no plate on it right at the moment.
Well,
I have a plate mount for it, but it's just ugly as sin. It took away from the lines.
So is there a picture of it with a plate on it on your Facebook page? Because that's where I pirated the picture.
I don't think so.
I
don't think it shows a plate on it. I mean, I had the plate mount on it when I took it down to have it inspected.
Sure.
But like I said, this was never intended to be driven on the street.
Yeah.
It was intended to be driven in and out of car shows. But in order for me to take it to a lot of the shows, it has to be registered. It has to be licensed.
Sure.
Right.
It drives horrible. I mean,
I bet it does.
it only takes 2.5 blocks to make a U-turn.
It's a show bike. It's not supposed to drive well, right? I mean,
Correct.
that's what Orange County Choppers did the whole time they were in business.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
just looked good.
So
So,
that was quite the experience. But of course, I learned something similar when I took the coffin car down.
yeah, oh yeah,
When I took the coffin car down, I had another problem with the state patrol because they wanted to title it as a home built.
right. Yeah, I can see that.
No, I'm showing them the wax. Basically, the coffin car is nothing more than a tea bucket with some coffins on it.
Right.
Still got the tea bucket shell and everything else. And I have all the wax with me that says this should be titled as to what it most closely resembles.
Right.
And the most closely resembled thing is a Ford tea bucket.
Yep.
And I wanted it as what do they call it?
Modified?
Well, when they put a restriction on your title,
Oh,
branded. I wanted it branded as a street rod.
that's it.
And the guy that looked at it says, no, it's a home built. I'm showing all the wax right here is showing this should be titled, branded as a street rod, as a tea bucket. And he wouldn't do it, so I yanked it out. I called his superior. I went through quite a few chains within the state patrol. And then the top guy said, nope, it's a home built. So I just took the title, the original title, the one that says it's a 26 tea bucket, and I just licensed it under the original title.
There you go.
Thinking that if I ever get pulled over and busted and somebody freaks out about it, that I can finally at least go to a judge, show the judge the wax, and says,
Yeah.
this is supposed to have been branded as a street rod. I attempted to get it branded as a street rod, but the state patrol refused to follow their own wax. I
Yeah.
had another problem when I bought that Harley. I bought that orange trike.
Yeah,
I bought it in Canada.
Oh,
what a
boy.
mess that one was.
I am
Yeah, I'll
sure.
bet.
Yeah. Because they wanted to title that as a home built as well. And
Yeah,
I'm showing them all the stuff and this and that, showing them that this should be titled as a 1942 Harley servo car. I mean, everything was stock and legit except for the casket that was on the back.
well, yeah. I mean, the frame and the motor and everything else. I mean, it's clearly a Cervicar.
The problem arose with Harley doesn't put VIN numbers on their frames.
Right.
So they title these old Harleys with just the engine number.
Well,
Ah.
yeah. Prior to about 50, 60 or something, I remember. Then they started putting the numbers on the neck.
Nah, it wasn't until the 70s.
Maybe, yeah. I
They
know.
did.
I know. My first one didn't have it. It was a 47,
Oh.
and the
So
63 did. The 68 did.
the problem arose because Canada put a VIN number on it.
Oh, of
Oh,
course they did.
The same kind of a VIN that the Washington State Patrol puts on, like the bike, they put their own Washington State VIN on
Yeah.
it. So Canada had done a VIN on the frame.
Huh.
So when I had it licensed, they wanted to call it a home built.
Huh.
And once
Did they-
again,
Did they put it on the down tube?
on which one? On my,
On the Canadian one?
no, on the Canadian one was on basically, the very back. One
Oh,
of the lower frame rails were
it's a weird.
in a
place.
weird place on
Yeah.
top of everything else. You would have thought they would have put it on the net.
Well, even better for the down tubes. That's where they are now. I mean,
Yeah, you would have thought.
Yeah.
But
that'd be
after they said absolutely not, we are only going to license this as a home built. I once again pull out the wax and actually show them what it's supposed to be titled at just
Yeah.
by what it looks like. A home built is not recognizable.
sure,
An assembled is it looks similar,
right?
but it's supposed to be entitled directly as a Harley because it's got the Harley VIN on the engine. It looks like the servo car. It's got the original frame, the original forks, and everything.
Yeah.
And finally, they agreed and titled it as Harley.
oh, nice.
So many guys. Go ahead, Ron.
No, I just agreed that was a good thing that they titled it the way I wanted it to.
Yeah, no
Me.
kidding. Well, so so many guys that build a car, whether it's a full bore custom imagined thing or just something that you assembled from a variety of parts. Getting them titled can be kind of touchy sometimes because I mean
Yep.
I got a truck it's titled as a 41 Jimmy, but there's not a whole lot on there that's 41 Jimmy. I mean it's other stuff too, but I titled it before I started building it, and so that's
Yeah.
probably what
That's
saved me on that one.
saving grace. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So what followed the bike and the trike for that matter? Where'd you go after that? Because I know we're going to get to your 52 motor Jag back there, but I want to know what the process was.
Well, I build so many little things in between. I built 7 electric bar stools.
Okay, that's good.
I'm getting ready to build my 8th.
Nice.
I have been looking for years for ATV tracks.
Oh, okay, okay.
Those big tracks they put on the side-by-sides and
Yep,
stuff.
absolutely.
They want a fortune for this stuff.
Yep.
I mean, $5,000 for a set of tracks.
Yeah.
Wow.
$3,500 if you just want 2 of them.
A lot of moving parts.
Wow.
And like I've told you in the past, I just go to swap meets and Facebook Marketplace and
Yeah, yeah.
wait for things to pop up.
We got 2 spots at the Monroe swap meet this year.
There you go.
I would get spots at the Monroe swap meet, not necessarily to sell, but I
Just
get to
to-
go in a day early. I get to look at the stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I get to
Exactly.
bring the parts back and I get to park my car at the swap meet.
Right.
You're speaking to the choir here, brother.
That's
I'm
right.
out there with a flashlight. Oh, what's this? They're looking, digging through their trailers,
Yeah.
back of their
You
trucks.
need help
Why?
unloading your truck? I'm more than happy to help you unload.
Happy to
Heck
do
yeah.
it. Sure.
Heck yeah.
What do you
Yeah,
want
yeah.
for this?
Yeah.
I bought a 29 internet or 29 Model A Roadster that way.
Yeah.
See?
So see, some of those things never even make it to the table.
I didn't make it out of swap meet. I turned around and sold it the next day.
There you go.
Doubled my money.
The
Sure.
last time I sold at the Monroe swap meet, I bought a pair of vintage water skis.
Oh, cool.
Super ugly, red and white stripe. I mean, they just scream 1950s water skis. Paid like $10 for them. I was gonna come back and hang them on the wall inside the shop. I put them in the back of the spot where I keep my stuff, my personal stuff. Some guy coming through spotted them, offers me $75 for them, and I'm going, okay, sold.
Done. Yeah.
No kidding.
But
Well, I put 'em
Portland's
on a-
coming up.
Portland,
Portland swap meet. I think
When
it's
is
the
that?
1st of April.
April.
Oh.
Cool.
Yeah.
In fact, the reason I built bar stools was so I could drive the bar stools at the
In the
racetrack.
swap meet. In the
Down at
swap meet.
Portland. Go look for parts.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Although as cool as that is, the bar stool doesn't have a lot of storage. There's no rack on there. If you get something, you're gonna have to balance it. You look like you're riding a unicycle.
The one I built for the swap meet has a beer keg to store everything in the
Okay.
back.
There you go. There you go. Now you-
And of course,
Little
I've always
little
had plans
trailer.
to build a trailer to go behind it.
of course.
Yeah.
Now you're talking. Now you got a mini train.
Exactly. And now that I got the tracks, I just picked up tracks like a few weeks ago for the new bar stool. So
Oh, good. All right. All right. Well, we expect to see pictures of that and some video too,
then right after I got done with the bike,
right?
I built the mono wheel.
Okay.
I think there's a picture on the Facebook page of the mono wheel.
Mono
Either
wheel.
there is or not.
Mono wheel.
If I can find it, I'll stick one in here after we're done with the show.
It's a 5-foot diameter wheel, and
Yeah.
you sit inside of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And so what's the power of that?
that's just got a little 6-horse engine.
Okay.
I didn't do anything crazy.
Briggs and Stratton or Tecumseh or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
So it's a
Oh, right.
track inside it. Drives the track inside it.
Well, there's an inner structure that has a wheel at the
Yeah.
bottom that drives the outer wheel.
Yeah.
So as you drive it, of course, when you accelerate it, the inside wheel climbs up the outside wheel.
Right.
And with every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So that drives the wheel.
Right.
So when
Okay.
you first give it gas, you just ride up the thing, you start going, let up on the throttle, it settles back down. The
Yeah.
problem
Braking.
is when I brake.
Braking.
Yeah.
Yes.
The brake I put on was a little bit too powerful.
Ah, you're.
And of course, this is its
Whee!
maiden voyage.
Oh, jeez.
And my friend was videotaping,
Oh
Ah.
boy.
but his battery died.
Oh no.
Otherwise, we'd be on American's Funniest Home Videos.
Oh, no doubt.
Or it gone viral.
Yeah.
So I'm going downhill. It's picking up speed. I'm starting to get used to this. I mean, I've got the balance part down. I can put my feet up on the pegs, and I'm kicking downhill on this thing, and then I step on the brake.
Yeah.
I don't remember much after that.
Did you do it full
I
three?
thought I just went upside down and was thrown out.
Yeah.
He said I made 1.5 revolutions, like a gerbil.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
A gerbil.
Wow.
You gerbiled yourself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then it came crashing down on top of me. I got a nice scar on the back where it hit me.
Oh
You know,
man.
all the good stories end up with a scar
They usually do.
or jail time, one of the two. And
Or hold my beer.
well, yeah, that they start with hold my beer and they end up with scars. That's the usual thing. Well, so we're down to about, I can't believe we do this again. We're down to about the last 8 minutes. Tell me about the twin engine. Tell me about the Jags.
So once again, I've got the little stuff out. I'm itching to build another big car. I thought I mentioned this last time. I was looking to build a C-cab T-bucket.
Right.
I just wanted the rear end out of a Jag. I think it's the most gorgeous rear end for a street product.
Very cool.
The inboard rear disc brakes.
Yeah.
Yep. Very nice.
Found the car. Bought it. Didn't run, of course. I said, what the heck? It's got a V12 in it. Let's see what it's going to take to fix this thing.
Sure.
And it was just a broken jack shaft that ran the distributor. So then I started looking for a jack shaft, found one on eBay for $75.
Nice.
Well, I'm not going to spend $75 for a single little jack shaft. That seemed a little expensive to me. I'm on a budget.
Right.
So I'm on Craigslist and I found a complete engine for $75.
Much better deal.
I get it. I
Sure.
work home, but I still need a jack shaft for the other one. And I'm not going to tear apart a good engine just to get the jack shaft out.
Right.
So I continue to look. And I'm finding these Jag motors at just the right time, all over the place. I picked one up for 50, got a couple of them given to me.
Wow.
The fuel injection systems on these 70 era Jaguars are horrible. Analog, not very sophisticated. If you take a look at how it fires or knows to fire an injector, it has a reed switch that sits in the rotor. So as this thing spins around, it's got a magnet in the rotor, and as it spins around, it just catches the reed switches and turns them on and off. Mechanically tells the computer that it's time to fire the injector.
That's British.
Horrible. So people were yanking these V12s out left and right. And there's a company that makes a kit to put in small block Chevys.
Of course.
So I ended up with 6 Jaguar V12s.
For $12.
And the Chevy kit works in the V12s?
What's that?
The Chevy kit works on the V12 distributor?
No. You yank the whole engine out.
Yeah, they were
Small block Chevy.
yeah, they were selling conversion kits to the Jaguar people so they could take the Jag motor out and put a 350 in it.
Oh, okay. I thought they were fixing the V12 with a kit
Yeah,
that you can buy for a
no.
Chevy. Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure nothing in a 350 would go into a Jaguar anywhere.
Just clarifying what I
Pretty much.
thought I heard.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
now I have my rear end, and now I have a V12 Jag motor, and I really considered building that C cab with the V12. But I'm also going, but I got 6 of them. And I know I can make 2 really good ones
Out
out
of
of the
6.
6.
Sure.
So then I started thinking, all right, what could I fit 2 V12s in? And then I remembered as a kid, building a model was my favorite show rod from the 60s and 70s. And it was called the Boot Hill Express.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, the original Boot Hill had a Hemi.
Yep.
Yeah.
Single Hemi, had the intakes coming out through the roof, had
Carcraft
the
magazine.
exhaust coming out the bottom,
Yeah, I think it was in Carcraft magazine at least once.
and in several, I believe, but
Yeah.
you were right.
Yeah.
But it sits way high up in the air.
Yeah.
The original wood frame on this thing was absolutely gorgeous. It had this nice S curve to it.
Oh yeah, I remember now. You mentioned the
But
frame.
they certainly couldn't support the weight of a Hemi, or at least a powertrain, etc. So they built the whole thing and just set it on top of a 2x6 framework. If you go back and look at the pictures of these things, you can see that frame that the wood frame sits on top of, and it takes away from the look of the thing.
Yeah.
And it sits way up in the air. And did I mention it only has a single V8?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going, I can do better. I can put twin V12s in this thing.
Nice.
Easy.
And that's how that one started.
That's grand. I again, we could do this all night. I wish we had more time, but we're right down to it. But maybe we'll do another one of these. I think we got plenty left to talk about. Besides, I do need to talk to you about that extended warranty.
Extended warranty, yeah.
Oh, I wanted to talk about
the shop tour.
Yeah,
I should say garage tour.
Absolutely.
shop door. Yep.
Oh, super. Well, hey, Mike, thanks again. It's been swell, and we are going to do this again. I just absolutely know it. But that's all the time we got for tonight. We'll be back in just a minute with the close of the show. The Rat Bastards Car Club of Idaho loves a good time, and we'd rather build it than buy it. We're a family-oriented, nonprofit car club that welcomes all 1969 and older, in the rough is enough, real steel and iron. We're all about old school, traditional hot rods and rat rods. We get together, we have fun, we help each other build, and we cruise like crazy because that's the way car clubs are supposed to be. The Rat Bastards of Idaho is a new class of old school. Our signature event is the Infestation Show every July. Check our Facebook page for location, time, and date. We're charter sponsors of the Idaho Hot Rod Hall of Fame and the Hot Rod Podcast. Join us at cruise-ins all over Idaho and Eastern Washington. Joining the club is easy. Just contact us through the club Facebook page or contact us at any event. Check us out on the Rat Bastards Car Club pages on Facebook.
Wow.
I love talking to this guy. This
It's awesome.
It's funny, the people that you talk to, just some guy that hangs around with you that comes to your shows once in a while, you see him to the car, and in the background all this cool stuff that he's built, and we just scratch the surface. I mean,
he got invited to the Roadster Show.
That's right. Yeah. And how cool is that?
That is awesome.
His car's on the poster, so they better be paying his fee, I think. Don't you? I mean,
Greenwood Greenwood Car Show put my car on the poster had T-shirts and that. Yeah, that was amazing. Right. Yeah, got 1,000 cars there that weekend. Well,
of course, your car is tattooed on various people's bodies. I happen to know yours. We'll all get there, maybe.
Oh yeah,
that's some great stuff. I love the story of the Jaguar, the twin Jaguars. That's what a great it was. Well, we're going to do this again. We'll have him back in a couple of weeks, I guess, and see what else kind of trouble we can get into. I really do plan to get with him about my extended warranty. I think we're working on that. We may very well decide to go with it.
Cool.
What a cool. Hey, always a pleasure, buddy.
All right, see you next time, buddy.
Do this again. That's it for this episode of the Hot Rod Podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to our show, and we appreciate it if you smash those notification buttons too, so you'll know when a new one drops. For Ron Foreman, I'm Brady Wright. This has been the Hot Rod Podcast. We'll see you on the next one.